Mental health might be an area that many of us guys don't want to talk about, but it's still an important aspect of our health and well-being. Many men suffer from mental health issues, and unfortunately, many men don't get help. Now, I'm not a mental health expert, and I'm not licensed to treat or diagnose mental health disorders, but I'm going to try to cover some basic mental health principles, including some early warning signs of when to seek help, and also give you some stress management techniques. But I'll also provide a lot of great resources for you to check out. Let's talk about some of those signs and symptoms of common mental health disorders. Let's start with depression. Depression isn't the same in all people, and especially can be different in men. And so we find a different set of symptoms in men than we do in women. Some early signs of depression might be a change in sleep, feeling tired or exhausted, decreased interest or pleasure, taking more risks than normal, having physical pain, irritability and anger, inability to concentrate, unexplained weight loss, and feelings of guilt and worthlessness. Depression slowly creeps in. It's easier to treat depression in the early stages than it is later, so it is important to identify depression and treat it early. You might think you can just tough it out, but you wouldn't tough out a broken bone. Don't treat mental health and depression any different than that. If you're seeing these early warning signs in yourself or someone else you know, you should encourage them to seek help, even if it's just checking out the resources provided below. Check out the Heads Up Guy resource for a self-check and numerous other resources. This is one of the best resources out there for you guys. It also has a therapy directory if that is something you're interested in, but it also has many practical tips for dealing with depression and those signs and symptoms of depression. Even if you don't think you have depression, Heads Up Guys is a great resource to check out and is a good resource to share with others that you think might be interested in this topic. Anxiety is also very common in all people, including men. Some signs of anxiety might include a pounding or racing heart rate, excessive sweating, lots of muscle tension, so you're feeling tense often, restlessness or agitation, dizziness, shortness of breath, insomnia, panic attacks, worrying about things that could go wrong, feelings of dread, always thinking about the worst case scenario, and being very irritable or angry. Similar to depression, if you think you might have anxiety, it's worth getting checked out or at least taking the screener provided below. I provided other resources on anxiety below this, and while anxiety and depression aren't the same, you can check out those depression resources and use similar principles to help with your anxiety. So far we've talked about some mental health disorders, but I want you to think of mental health as on a spectrum. So it's not either we have anxiety or we don't, it's more of either low anxiety or high anxiety. And so this next section, we're going to talk about some basic tips to improve your mental health and especially manage those stressors. So first thing we can do is we want to leave work at work. I know this is easier said than done, but there are some things we can do to help break up work and home time. So one easy thing you do is try taking a 10-minute walk break or 10-minute breather or even a nap immediately after work. This helps segment your day up. So you have work, you have a break, and then now you're at home, you're a new person. Avoid checking emails or responding to work calls when you're at home if you can at all. So I want you to do your best to check out from work and now be present at home. This will take practice, and so don't think you'll get this overnight. This is something to keep working on. If you're working from home, this adds an extra challenge of the separating work from home. One idea is you can set up a dedicated workspace that when you're in that space, you're working, but when you leave that space, you're no longer working. So really having a dedicated space to where you work and then leave that space, you leave work. Taking regular breaks throughout the day can also be helpful. So this is where we talked earlier about taking walk breaks. So taking those walk breaks or even just a moment or two to step out from your work, take a moment to refocus, breathe, all of that can be helpful to reduce your stress. Set limits on your technology use, especially on social media and news. It's not healthy to consume too much, and it can be really distracting and take us away from the people around us. And so set limits and abide by those limits. Find a self-care routine. Am I suggesting you take a spa day? No. But things such as gardening, physical activity, reading, or other hobbies can all work as you time. So time that you get to enjoy. Find some fun activities that you like to do and then engage in those. Something else that can be helpful are called gratitude journals or letters. And so that's where you write something down that you are thankful for each day. Or you can write a letter to someone, explain to you how thankful you are for them. Organizing your day and planning out your days can also be a helpful stress-reducing technique. You can use to-do lists and organizational strategies to set daily goals and things you want to get done that day. Just make sure you're staying realistic with yourself. Otherwise, this can just stress you out more. But having a plan for each day and having some easy-to-hit tasks on the day can help reduce some of your stress. Different routines and techniques are going to work for everyone to reduce stress. I'm providing plenty of resources below just on general stress management, some places to read articles. Check those out, find some techniques that work for you, add them to your toolkit, and go from there.